The Kamala Harris campaign is calling out J.D. Vance for a comment he made 2 years ago about reproductive rights. In a podcast interview from 2022, the Ohio senator is heard expressing his support for a federal response to traveling out of state for an abortion. Now, the Harris campaign is sharing some of that audio on social media.
Okay, look, here's the situation. Let's say Roe versus Wade is overruled. Ohio bans abortion, in 2022 or let's say 2024. And then, every day, George Soros sends a 747 to Columbus load up disproportionately black women to get them to go have abortions in California. And of course, the left will celebrate this as a victory for diversity. That's kind of creepy.
Health justice is when we exterminate working class black people.
Something like that could, that would be a really weird turn of events that could happen. Yes.
And it's like, if that happens, do you need some federal response to prevent it from happening? Because it's really creepy. And, I'm pretty sympathetic to that, actually.
So many dog whistles there. NBC News reached out to the Vance campaign earlier this month about the remark, but it declined to comment. Now, since being nominated for vice president, the Ohio senator has aligned himself more closely with Donald Trump on the issue, saying that abortion rights should be left up to the states to decide. So, Elise, you have more from the focus groups you conducted in Wisconsin and on this issue in particular. Tell us more about this.
So just to set the scene, I'd like to point out the importance of focus groups and how campaigns use them to test candidates, policies, their messages. To win elections, you have to understand the voters. So the goal isn't to argue with the participants and get them to think how you think, but it's to create an environment where they can air their views honestly. And so Wisconsin, swing state central, purple state, equally divided, Dems, Republicans, and it's often decided by fewer than 30,000 votes in the last 6 elections. We did extensive research to find sample sets of voters, including right-leaning undecided voters in Green Bay. And so this subset, it's likely that the presidential candidate who wins, 60% of this group will win the state. And among them, abortion rights are a critical and potentially decisive issue. Let's hear part of that conversation now with right-leaning undecided voters in Wisconsin. Abortion rights as something that's very important for you. How much does that weigh in on your vote, on the rest of your vote, when you're considering who to vote for?
It's weighs in a lot on me just because my daughters are very concerned about their rights, and as they're getting older and of childbearing age, it really concerns them, and my youngest daughter is very concerned about that.
So I have quite a few years of women's healthcare background. I would not be here if it wasn't for an abortion, medical abortion that was needed, but that conversation happened between myself and a provider, and now that Roe versus Wade isn't necessarily here, is that something that would be available for me? And I think about that very, very heavily now that I have a daughter. If she's ever in that same situation, is she gonna die? And that weighs super heavy because it isn't just this is my choice, and they took that away.
Donald Trump chose a running mate, J.D. Vance, who is very anti-reproductive rights. Does that selection make you less likely to vote for Donald Trump?
Yes and no. I don't know. I will say, because I haven't done my due diligence to truly know about him, about J.D. Vance. Everything looks great on paper until I think I've heard more about him speaking, because I think he was a wild curveball out of the side that I was like, oh, okay, now let's listen to him speak some more. Yes, it definitely impacts it to where I'm like, oh.
So, Jen, you're a political campaign pro. What do you make of what you just heard from those undecided voters?
I mean, these are not just undecided voters, right? They said that you said they were right-leaning.
When they voted for Biden in 2020,
right? Like, so, but had voted Republican, Republican in the past. I mean, it's so rare that you have a political issue that gets to that's actually truly existential. For instance, that woman herself said she had a medical abortion that saved your life. And then when you have J.D. Vance saying, not just saying that, he opposes abortion rights, but that they need to consider federal legislation to ban women from being able to travel outside of their own state to get this kind of care. This is like a true existential health issue for women. You don't want, and then when you have, all of these things are happening at once. You have J.D. Vance, you have the footage of him saying being concerned about we need federal legislation to deal with women who want to, control their own lives and leave their state to get the health care they need. That's coming along at the same time he's talking about childless cat ladies, at the same time that the Democrats have put forward a incredible, strong female candidate, right? And it's like we had the two older white men on top of the ticket, the abortion rights sort of like simmering as a major issue. And then when when the Democrats have changed their candidate to this younger woman, and you still have from the right all of Trump and Vance piling on about abortion rights. I think it's the combination of the two things that makes the abortion rights issue, I think, all the more potent. Like, we do not need to put up with this.
And Harris, of course, a younger woman, but also someone who speaks very forcefully on this issue in a way that President Biden just simply never could. She calls them Trump abortion bans, which what we should call them, with the 6-week ban in Texas or the 6-week ban in Florida. Those are Trump abortion bans because he is the one that made them possible, and he's proud that he did it. And we should note that after the Dobbs decision, abortion rights basically undefeated on the ballot, including in deep red states, not just battlegrounds. We'll have more from Elisa's focus groups a little later this morning.